Friends, welcome back. In this video, we will go on our journey of pen testing. The machine would be below on the Vulnhub, which link will be added into the description section below. So if you want, you can download it by yourself. And in this video, I'd like to demonstrate the entire pen testing process as complete as possible. You know this point if you have already followed my channel, right? So without further ado, let's just get started. We can go inside the Kali Linux VM and we can zoom in the terminal so you can see what's going on exactly. The first thing for us to do is to discover the IP address of a target. Usually, I'd like to take the netDiscover utility to do that. netDiscover with option of I to specify the interface to send the packet for the purpose of discovery. However, it's saying finished. The netDiscover failed to identify or discover any machines on this network. Alternatively, we can use SQLMAP to do the host discovery with option of OSN. Just I talked over and over again. We cannot just use one tool or utility. Sometimes we need to combine various techniques or utilities. As you can see, this time the IP address of the target could be identified as 134. So what do we have to do next? I think we need to do the enumeration. Sorry, not enumeration. We need to do the port scanning with a map first. For the time of, to save the time of this video, I have already done that earlier. So for now, we just get out the result of a map scanning. As you can see, I used the option of scene scan, the version scan, the default script scan, and also the complete same scan by the option of -p- and followed by the uppercase PN to not to do the live testing and output the result into this file with the option of ON. From the scanning results, we can tell that the target has two open ports. The first one is 22, which is running SSH service and also the version information. Maybe you'll be thinking that this version is a very old one. However, we cannot find any vulnerability besides the username enumeration vulnerability. And this one is not what we are interested in at this point. The second one is 80, which is running HTTP service, and also the version information, which is Apache 2. So what we are going to do next is we need to do the enumeration both manually and automatically against HTTP service. Let's launch our browser, Firefox browser, to do the manual enumeration first. And we can put the IP address of the target into the address bar. We are prompted by this login panel. And before we try to test this login form, I'd like to check the source code of this page. Sometimes source code can reveal very interesting information. However, nothing like that we can get at this case. So next we need to check whether this site has robots file. Not found. Let's go back. And then next we need to check whether this form or this page has weak credential vulnerability. So we can use admin as username and also password would be admin. And let's log in. Try again. So failed. Also, you can try some other popular weak passwords. For example, like admin as username, password is password. Let's log in. Failed. Next, I think we can try to use bypass login technique. Admin single quote or 1 equal 1 dash dash and password. Let's log in. Failed. However, you know why you may be thinking that I like to test the SQL injection vulnerability, because you can see over here, show me your SQL skills. So this is the reason why I try to use the login bypass techniques. So in this case, we cannot make a successful bypass. Maybe it deserves to use the SQLMAP to do the automatic testing against the SQL injection vulnerability. So how to do? We can intercept the request by b0x. Let me show you. And we can turn on the proxy to the b0x, and let's launch our b0x Community Edition. Click Next, Start b0x. And make sure the proxy has been turned on. And we can input anything like admin and the password field, password. Let's log in. As you can see, the b0x has intercepted the request. And then we can save the request to a file. We can use req.txt as a file name. Now we go back to the terminal and then use SQLMAP, and followed by the option of R to specify the request file. And let's auto-complete this command. You know, based on, as you can see, the SQLMAP cannot find SQL injection vulnerability for all parameters like login, like username, like also the password. Doesn't seem to be injectable, which is fine. So maybe we need to do more enumeration. So how to do? We can use Nigto to do the automatic enumeration. Yeah, Nigto can help us to do the very useful enumeration in terms of like vulnerabilities, in terms of the common files or directories, in terms of the header information. Yeah, many different types of information about the web application. As you can see, has already discovered this file. We can access this file. PHP. Maybe I need to turn off the proxy. Let's access. Yeah, this page is PHP info information, and we can get, I think, almost everything about the PHP, which is running on the target. However, although this version is not a new one, we cannot find some vulnerabilities or exploit for the PHP itself. So we need to continue our enumeration. Yeah, the next one, test.php. The file parameter is empty. Please provide file path in file parameter. It means that we need to provide or pass the parameter file. And how to do? Normally, we can put into the URL file. However, we get the same error. The file parameter is empty. So maybe we can use the b0x and to intercept the request to change or manipulate the method and put the file parameter into the body, the request body. Let me show you. Next. And now we can turn on the proxy, and we can press enter. Yeah, we got the request and we can send to repeater module. And then in this module, we can manipulate the request as we wish. Yeah, any field in this request. For example, yeah, this time is post. Yeah, not this one, sorry. I need to refer. Yeah, this one. I need to change the method of the request. And also I'd like to put the file parameter into the body. And we can add the name file. And the file I'd like to retrieve is password file. Usually we need to take or test this file first. And we can add. And also we need to change the method. And we can change the method at the post. Apply changes. So now we can forward. Oh, not this one. The repeater, sorry, should be here. I can, not this one. I need to do it again. Go back to the proxy. Let's refresh the page. Sorry about wasting your time. And we can send the repeater module. And we can change the request body. We can put the file parameter into the body. And the value can be password file. Add. And we can change the method to post. And apply changes. And then we can send. As you can see, we successfully retrieved the content of a password file. It means that this confirms our earlier guess. This target has LFI or local file inclusion vulnerability. So what do we have to do next? Since we have already know that the target has LFI vulnerability, what are we going to do? We need to test or we need to exploit this vulnerability for our purpose, right? Ultimately, we need to get the shell, okay? So let me show you. Next, I do not want to use Burp Suite. I'd like to use command line, which is much convenient for me. We can use Q and use the uppercase X to specify the method of a request and use data to specify the request body. And we can retrieve the password file. Yeah, as you can see, we have already retrieved the content of a password file as we did earlier. So next we can check whether we can retrieve the private key of the user home user ICA, any normal user on the target. Yeah, we can know this point from this result, right? And we can SSH ID, however, file not found. Next, we can check whether we can access the bash history. Yeah, closed with 500 bytes. And next, we can check whether we can access the log file. Closed. So maybe too much data, right? We can use the Burp Suite with the repeater module, and we can go back. We can access which file. We can change it to author log and send. Not successful. And next we can try to access log of Apache 2. Log, apply changes, and send. File not found. Next, we can check whether the target has remote file inclusion vulnerability, right? So to test that, we can set up the web server locally on the Kali Linux. And I've already created this file for testing. You already set up? Okay, sorry. And maybe not this one. Yeah, I need to create the text file for testing, and then we can use the Q HTTP, the Kali Linux IP address and port number, test. File not found. Even the web server didn't get the request from the target. So I think we cannot do anything else to exploit the local file inclusion vulnerability. Although earlier we have already got to know the target has this vulnerability, which is wonderful, right? However, for us, the objective for us is to get the shell or initial foothold on the target. So how to do? Maybe we need to enumerate or retrieve more files. And to do that, I think from the negative, we have already known that the target has the test.php, right? So we can PHP. Yeah, we got this page back. Nothing interesting. So maybe next we can do some direct enumeration, right? We didn't do yet. We can follow by the. And normally I will use the debuster. Oh, sorry, the word list. Or to complete this command, the show PHP, we can turn off the proxy to access these discovered files, like show PHP, no return, and also the PHP. Yeah, even here we can upload the image. So maybe I can record another video to see whether we can utilize this page or this upload function to exploit the machine. In this video, I will not go into there, okay? So head, panel, and also the C PHP. Nothing returned. So maybe we can use we can utilize the LFI vulnerability to retrieve the content of such files like C. Yeah, we got this page or this file back. Even we have already got this one, the database collection credentials. So we can copy and note it down to our notebook. So next, of course, from the SQLMAP scanning, we have already know that the database is not accessible by us. It's only accessible locally. All right. This is the local host IP address. So how to do? In some other case, we can use the PHP MyAdmin application and then use the credentials to manage the database. However, just now the GoBuster didn't discover the PHP MyAdmin application or directory. So this is another point I'd like to point out for you. In some case or real cases, we need to use different word list. This case, we need to use another word list of the sec lists. You know, sec lists. We need to install this sec list. Sometimes this one is very useful and has more word lists than the default one on the Kali Linux discovery and autocomplete. Yeah, this word list, the raft large directories, as you can see, has already identified this directory. It looks like this is, yeah, PHP myadmin. Okay, and so now we can access this PHP myadmin, and then we can copy the username and the password to log in. Yeah, error, very weird. I'd like to clear the history. Please access the PHP myadmin again. The username, password. Yeah, we are logged in as the user, and here some databases information. However, we cannot get anything more. So since we have already got to access the PHP myadmin, maybe it's worth trying to get or write the shell file through this PHP myadmin. As you can see, I've already opened up this page, this website. You can copy this command or this SQL and go to SQL. And here we need to put the absolute path, the var www, and we can go. However, access denied for this user. So it means that we failed to execute this command to write the one-liner of a shell into the file. Okay, let's do it again. On the base, failed. Maybe we can, the users, SQL, access denied for user. All right, so this way cannot work. Actually, we need to utilize the LFI vulnerability again to get more information about the web application, especially PHP myadmin. You know, PHP myadmin is another PHP application which will contain the configuration file, and you can use Google to make some search. The configuration should be inside this file. So let's try to retrieve the content of this file. We can put var, we need to put the absolute path. This case should be PHP my and not myadmin, and followed by the file name PHP not found. Interesting. Config in, sorry, not in. As you can see, we can retrieve the content of this configuration file. Here we can get the root credential. Although these credentials are used by the database or MySQL database, we can try to use this credential to SSH to the target. All right. Sometimes the credential will be reused. This is another popular vulnerability, especially in the scenario of CTF. And we can put the password. As you can see, it does work. We have already got this privileged shell. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'd like to see you in the next one. Bye. Have a nice day.